right, hey everyone, good Monday evening to you. No rest for the weary. Wow, what a stretch it has been since last Tuesday when we kind of clued on to this idea that we're going to have a pretty major storm in the eastern U.S. over the weekend, all the way through this morning and kind of picking up the pieces and gathering all the snowfall reports and kind of cobbling it all together to see what happened. It's been a tough stretch. It's been fun trying to figure out what's going to happen, and overall I think our forecast did pretty well. In fact, we're going to talk about that first thing this evening, kind of grading our forecast. You know, I track our forecast accuracy every day, but especially in these big ticket, impactful weather scenarios, we really want to hold ourselves accountable, and sometimes we have to learn some lessons with forecasts, and then sometimes it turns out that, you know, we did pretty well, and this is one of those situations in which I'd give our forecast at least a B, B+, maybe even an A-. Probably an A as far as advertising the impacts. We really, starting Friday and especially Saturday, really started to play up this idea that this could be a crippling snow event for our region, something we haven't seen for a while, and really starting to, you know, get people's attention, not only because of the lofty numbers, but hey, really honing in on the idea that this is not just your standard issue snowstorm. This is something that we haven't seen in about a decade or so, and so you got to get ready for it. And this was our final snow forecast that we did issue around midday on Sunday. The overall idea here was that we would be pretty close to the bullseye. Far eastern Ohio, northwestern PA, into western New York, but even outside of the quote-unquote bullseye, you're still looking at 9 inches plus, basically in the rest of our TV viewing area. And so it was going to be a lot of snow, and let me bring that back up. The idea was that the snow would get underway around dinner time on Sunday and then wind down by about daybreak on Monday. We were pretty good as far as the timing is concerned. It started to snow a little bit sooner, mid to late afternoon in some parts of the area. Now here's what actually happened. The bullseye was a little bit farther to the west than we did have. I would say the true bullseye was right in through here, just east of downtown Cleveland, up into wine country around, if you've been to the wineries up near Geneva and Harpersfield and places like that, and over into parts of Ashtabula County. Some places had 20 plus inches worth of snow up there. I think the highest amount I've seen is something like 27 inches near Ashtabula. Just crazy amounts up there. But in our TV viewing area, the bullseye was kind of the central and western part of our viewing area, but even, you know, east of Youngstown, down into Columbiana, over into Lawrence and Mercer, everybody pretty much saw at least 9 inches out of this. And in our TV viewing area, some of the highest totals I've seen, western Mahoning County, western Trumbull, I think I've seen 17 inches or so, according to a couple of pictures we've gotten. So yeah, the forecast did pretty well. Again, B, B+ as far as the amounts region-wide, and A as far as the total impacts. Now at the Youngstown Warren Airport, we had 6.9 today since midnight. We had 5 last evening. That brings the storm total to 11.9 inches of snow officially at the airport. And as you know, that's where our official weather records for our television viewing area are. And so when we talk about records and that sort of thing, we're referring specifically to Vienna, the airport. And it turns out that this is the biggest snow event we've had since December of 2010. It beat out that big storm we had just after Christmas in 2012. 2010 December, it was just insane. We had 50-something inches worth of snow just in December. Almost our seasonal total occurred in December of 2010. And so it's been since a couple of these big blockbuster events. This was kind of a 4-day event. But since early to mid-December of 2010, it's been that long since we've had, officially at the airport, a snow of the magnitude that we had last night. There was a little bit of gnashing of teeth for a time last evening, especially in western PA. The dry slot approached Pittsburgh. The weather service in Pittsburgh did lower their expected snow totals in this zone because it looked like the dry slot would push in. So there was a pretty big gradient across the Pittsburgh area. Handful of inches southern suburbs. Didn't have to go too far north of Pittsburgh, including the NWS location in Moon Township near the airport. They did 9 inches or so, but it was 3-4 inches down here in some unhappy weather weenies on the south side of Pittsburgh. But that dry slot only got so far to the west, and then it really wasn't an issue for our TV viewing area, and it just snowed and snowed, and even the sleet that we had last evening did not have much of an impact on our snow totals. Are we going to add anything to this tonight? Not really. A couple of flurries around, might be a heavier snow shower, some novelty additional accumulations, probably under an inch, possible, especially north of 80 in Trumbull and Mercer, but I wouldn't count on much in the way of additional accumulations. You just got to watch the roads again tonight. My trip into work today, parts of the roads were fine, and then especially I travel Route 11, and in open areas, areas that are exposed to the wind, the wind was blowing snow back over the plowed and treated roadways. It made for some tricky travel at times earlier today. No doubt some roads and highways are still experiencing that this evening. And if you are heading out this evening or tomorrow morning, you just got to be a little bit careful. A lot of kids have tomorrow off because a lot of rural roads and even some residential streets just have not been touched or have not been treated or plowed very often. And so they're just going to hopefully catch up during the day tomorrow. Now, a pretty quiet day tomorrow aside from a few flurries in the morning. Our next cold front, and it's a doozy, heads our way Wednesday. Ahead of the front, a one-day thaw. We get up to about 40 on Wednesday. Our snowpack will melt some, it'll compact some, but only some, because we go right back into the deep freeze Wednesday night and into Thursday morning. One thing we'll have to watch out for Wednesday night, we're going to get some meltwater Wednesday during the day with some partial melting of our snowpack and maybe even a rain shower in spots. And then, boom, temperatures are going to drop quickly at night. We'll have to watch for a rapid freeze-up overnight Wednesday night. And then speaking of a freeze-up, the coldest air of the season so far is coming our way Thursday and Friday. Maybe even the coldest air we've seen in a couple of years. All of 2021, we didn't have a high temperature officially in the teens. But our forecast calls for a high of 18 now, Thursday and Friday. And with this frigid air blowing over the lakes, you know there's probably going to be at least some flurries, maybe even a few lake-effect snow showers around Thursday and into Thursday night. So 18 Thursday and Friday, and while the weekend will not be balmy, it won't be quite as harsh. Saturday, after probably dropping below zero for the first time since early February of 2019, we get up to 23, 25 Sunday and Monday. But I'll tell you, once we drop below freezing Wednesday night, we're not going to see 32 again for a while. Look at how far below the average high temperatures will be all the way through the middle of next week. And this is the coldest time of the year. Our climatological bottom is right now. Our average is stuck at 34. We used to bottom out at 32 in the old 30-year averages, but in the new 30-year averages that took effect this past spring, our coolest average high is now 34, and we have that 34 through the end of the month, basically, and we won't even sniff 34, it looks like, for probably at least 10 days, maybe even through the very end of the month, maybe even into early February. What about snow? Right now, don't see a lot of blockbusters heading our way. This is our model spread for the next week, showing generally pretty modest snowfall amounts. What I did want to briefly touch on before we leave this morning is you may have seen some chatter if you are following a lot of weather accounts on Twitter or social media, some chatter about another winter storm late this week. Right now, it looks like there's probably going to try to be something, but it's more than likely going to be well to our southeast. This probably is not as close of a call as the storm we just got done with looked like it would be when we first started cluing into it on Tuesday. When we first saw the winter storm last week on Tuesday, we said it could be a close call for us. Right now, it looks like on most of our modeling, the low pressure systems on all the ensembles here in the Euro ensemble are well off to our south and east. Now, could this shift some in the next couple of days? Sure, there's a lot of players on the playing field across the lower 48 states that may make things look a little different a couple days from now, but right now it looks like that's probably no big deal for us. And a quick look at tonight's run of the European weeklies for hints in our future weather patterns as we wrap up January and head into February. Again, we're in the deep freeze through probably at least the 28th, 29th, maybe even the first few days of February, but some of the modeling, including the European weeklies, does start dumping more of the cold out west as we transition into February. And the pattern starts reverting a little bit more back to kind of the pattern we were in most of December, where the cold is centered out west and the east is not as cold. So, I like what I'm seeing here in about a month. Here's Valentine's Day. Yeah, it looks pretty nice. Let's hope this verifies. It is just one set of modeling, but there is some general agreement that February should turn out to be quite a bit different than much of January is shaping up to be. All right, thanks for watching tonight on Monday Evening's Weather for Weather Geeks. Hope you found it fun and informative. I know we have a lot of new viewers. I have a lot of new followers on social media with all the active weather, so welcome. And we post this video most weekday evenings that I work right around this time. It's usually online by about 7:30. Anyway, thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your month.